Hello everybody, Torfnaser Iceman here, welcome to another video on my channel. And well, as you can see and hear, this is kind of a different video to the ones you're used to here. Because this video is kind of an informational video on what exactly happened in the first 3 seasons of my Marble Racing series here on my channel. Now, when you scroll through my videos, you see that the first real racing video I uploaded was the Marble GP Mexico in Season 4, which was the 6th race there. Now you might be wondering what happened with the first 5 races and what happened with Seasons 1, 2, 3. Well, this video I will explain what happened. Not much time has passed since the release of Marble World, where I got the game and started building marble tracks for races specifically. I wasn't very keen on building any sort of marble runs that just have a very aesthetically good looking scheme. I was always into races, and so basically my first thing when I opened the game was I started building tracks. Now those tracks didn't have anything to do with my country GPs, for which I probably am known in the marble community or on the Steam Workshop now. I built tracks about general themes, like a rainbow track or a track that had many nails on it, and I built 10 tracks of these topics and uploaded them to the workshop. Now, but it has to be said that you cannot download these tracks from the workshop anymore, basically, since they are not there anymore, although they are kinda there, but not really, because those 10 tracks have been, well, let's say, recycled for some of the country GPs. If you know the tracks that I uploaded, the country GPs, then you may see that there are some tracks that, for example, have many nails on them, like the GP China track. This was the first Marble World track that I built and uploaded under a different name and without the Chinese color scheme, and this track served as the very first race in Season 1 of my Marble Race series. Now, in Season 1 we had 40 marbles, of course 2 for each team, like we have now. So we had 20 teams with 40 marbles, and the top 20 have been awarded points for every race. Every race, that means we had 10 races. Most of those 10 tracks have been recycled, as I said, to the country GPs that we know today. Not all of them, only 8 of them. But I can tell you that the 8 tracks that have been recycled are now known as China, Greenland, North Korea, Cocos Islands, Ukraine. I also put that in the Steam Workshop description of the Ukraine track that I actually built it way before I started the country tracks. French Polynesia, then the 2 tracks that I didn't recycle because, to be honest, I'm not really satisfied with them. Turkey and South Africa. Yeah, so the season started at race 1, the China track with all the nails, and it went pretty smoothly, I have to say. And the first ever winner of a race was Dusty from the Purple Hazers, ahead of both Bronze Vikings, Eric and Ivar. Now, at this point, I wasn't really sure what to think of this, but it turned out that this is a theme that occurred in pretty much all of Season 1, because we had a very, very tight and competitive championship fight between Eric and Dusty. Those two didn't win all the races, but they shared most of the, let's say, big points finishes, and were head-to-head going into the final race. Now, in the final few races before the season finale, the championship fight between these two eased off a bit, so that other marbles also could join this championship fight. That meant, after 9 races before the season finale, 14 marbles in total were mathematically still able to win the championship, but Eric and Dusty were tied on points, leading. And in the end it was one of them who won the championship, and it was Eric from the Bronze Vikings, which is interesting because if you've maybe seen the Season 4 Morocco race, which was uploaded just a few days ago, I actually captioned Season 1 champion. So now you maybe know who I meant with that. Also worth noting that the Bronx Vikings actually won the team championship as well. Because Ivar finished, I think it was P9 or P10 in the championship, and along with the championship winning performance of Eric, this was enough for the Bronx Vikings to seal the team championship. Interesting notes, two interesting notes actually. First, the season's finale was won by Glue from the Honeybees, and that was actually the first race where Glue scored points, and he was the only marble yet to score before the season finale. So in the first 9 races, 39 out of 40 marbles scored points, and Glue was the last one, but Glue won the final race, which brought him up, I think, 10 or 11 places in the championship, so Glue didn't finish last. The other interesting note, and this is where we built the connection to Season 2, the other fun bit is the Golden Gooses, and I know it's not the real plural of goose, finished P39 and P40 in the individual championship. So that means Ringy and Feather, in this order, actually got the lowest 2 individual places in the championship, and therefore, of course, the Golden Gooses finished last in the team championship. So that concludes Season 1. Let's head on to Season 2. Season 2 saw the addition of 5 new teams to the Marble Race series. The Indigos, the Magenta Maniacs, the Minty Miners, Steel Soldiers and the Zebras. So now we had 50 marbles with 25 teams in total, as well as a new point system, the same point system that we had in Season 4, with the top 25 scoring points. The tracks that we raced on also increased from 10 to 14, the 10 that were in Season 1, as well as 4 tracks that I downloaded from the Steam Workshop, those being the Marble GP, the Christmas track, the Hot Wheels track, and the Office Madness track, a track that I really recommend because it is really, really great. The Hot Wheels track, or the Hot Wheels race rather, on this track, was pretty chaotic as it was over long before the amount of laps has been reached, because simply everyone DNF'd. Yeah. So it was a very elimination styled race, but nonetheless it was fun to watch and was a key point in the championship, which we will get onto. In general, the races that I had on Season 2 and Season 1 were much longer than the races you watched on this channel in Season 4. For example, the funnel race, which now is the North Korea Marble GP, was about 75 minutes long, so nothing that I would upload on YouTube, or, well, I have uploaded a 60-minute plus video on my channel, but I quickly realized that this wasn't good and that I should short the race, which I did. Yeah, we had Mercury, Tarzan and Avalanche in the title fight, as well as Feather from the Golden Gooses, which I said was kind of interesting that they both finished in the bottom 2 spots in Season 1. And the best part about this was Feather went from P40 to P1, because Feather is the Season 2 champion. Yeah, outscoring Avalanche, Tarzan and Mercury in the title fight. I think it was 7 or 6 marbles that had the chance to mathematically win the title before the season finale, but in the end it was Feather. Although we had an interesting development in the team standings, because the Bronx Vikings again got a 1-2 in the final race. They finished first, second, and so they retained the team championship, because this win for Eric, who scored the win with Ivar coming second, this win brought Eric up to P3 in the individual championships, and the Bronx Vikings, with these 95 points, managed to outscore the Golden Gooses and pip them to the title, to the team championship, and so they retained their team championship in Season 2. However, this was not the first 1-2 that a team had on the Marble Race series, because two races earlier, the Rainbow Rushers won the Downtown race, which was the third to last title race, and as such they celebrated the first ever 1-2 a team could achieve in my Marble Race series, and the Bronx Vikings managed the second one. But this concludes Season 2. Now on to Season 3, and this was a key point in the Marble Race series, because this was the debut of my Marble GPs, of my country tracks. I increased the amount of races from 14 to 22, those being the first 22 tracks I built in the country GP series. The first race was on the Sweden course, and there was a massive pile-up on the Metallophone section about halfway through the race, which saw 20 marble DNF, which was kind of interesting, as well as the race on the GP Netherlands, because there was the first and to this day only time that the Marble World game has crashed on me during a race. This has never happened before and never since, but yeah, maybe worth noting. This first race in Sweden was won by Mandarin from the Oranges. Mandarin proved to give Citrull from the Water Balance a very tough title fight, in which during the season Hemo, Leaf and Dusty joined this title fight. Dusty, of course, being already experienced in having a championship fight. Mandarin dropped off a bit during the season, especially near the end of the season, with scoring only 8 points in the 7 races that led up to the season finale. So Mandarin was out of contention for the championship when we headed to the final race, but so were Hemo, Leaf and Dusty, because Citrull won the championship already at the penultimate race in French Polynesia, which served as the setup for the season finale in South Africa, but the individual championship wasn't contested there because Citrull already won it in the penultimate race in the forest of French Polynesia. However, the team championship was rather interesting. It went down to South Africa, to the final race, and it was the Watermelons versus the Jungle Jumpers versus the Banana Joes, Minion and Chiquita, who ended up 7th and 9th in the individual standings, but were in good contention for the team championship in the season finale. However, they didn't win it, and the Watermelons with Citrull and Heavy also didn't win it, because they were pipped in the final race by an incredible performance of the Jungle Jumpers, Leaf and Tarzan. Tarzan scored 5 points in the final race after getting stuck for more than one whole lap. He was lapped by the leader, and the leader and eventual winner was his teammate, Leaf. Leaf went on to win the final race of the season despite not being in the hunt for the championship anymore. And yeah, those 55 points in total were enough to pip the Watermelons for the team championship by 5 points. So the 5 points that ironically Tarzan managed to achieve after getting stuck were the 5 points that the Jungle Jumpers needed to win the team championship. So it was a rather interesting and exciting final race, which served as a good introduction for Season 4. Now, of course, the main part of Season 4 is already known if you watched my videos. However, a bit of basic information. We had 5 more teams enter the competition in Season 4. So we now have 30 teams, 60 marbles in total, and the 5 new teams were the Dirty Dogs, the Earthshakers, the Grasshoppers, the Red Roosters and the Vanilla Lakes. But the point distribution is the same like in Season 2 and Season 3, so the top 25 score. The race schedule was altered to 40 races, as you know, but it will be lowered in Season 5 onwards, probably to 30. And yes, we will have a Season 5. The season started in the Marble GP Orland, which was a crazy race with the whole field spread apart after like 10 laps. You couldn't tell where the beginning was, where the leader was, where the last place was. You couldn't tell it. But it only took 3 races for a newcomer, one of the new 5 teams, to actually win a race. Ginger from the Red Roosters won the Marble GP Greenland. This is pretty much everything that happened within the first 5 races that was of note. And from race 6 onwards, the Marble GP Mexico, one of my favorite tracks personally, everything is visible on the channel, including Telly's commanding lead right now as time of recording in the championship. Now, for the final part of this video, I mentioned Season 5. There will be a Season 5 and future seasons in general ahead. However, we will have a little bit of a change for these. As you know, in Season 4 we have 60 marbles, 30 teams. However, I have actually double the amount of teams and marbles that you see in the races prepared. Now, obviously not everyone can be in one race, as I think that 120 marbles in one race would be a little bit too much. You might be wondering what the red numbers in the leaderboard mean. Well, there will be so-called sprint playoffs after Season 4 has concluded. Those sprint playoffs serve as, let's say, qualifying races for the next season. Because the other teams, the 30 teams not racing currently in Season 4, will be collected with 10 relegated teams. So we have 40 in total, and those 40 teams, 80 marbles, will compete for 10 team spots in the new Season 5. So 20 marbles in Season 5. Those 10 teams that will be, let's say, relegated from Season 4 are the 5 lowest ranked teams in the team standings, plus the teams of the 5 lowest ranked individual marbles. So that means the teams in 26th to 30th will be relegated, as well as the teams from the individual marbles 56 to 60. Now, obviously, a marble that is ranked in the bottom 5 can be part of a team that is also ranked in the bottom 5 in the team standings. For this case, the 6th lowest team in the standings will be relegated, and so on. So we could see that it's just the bottom 10 teams being relegated, but we can also see that the bottom 5 teams will be relegated with 5 individual marbles that are not part of these 5 teams. In the end, everything can happen. Every team can be relegated. It can even happen that the championship winner can be relegated if their teammate is in the bottom 5 individually. So yeah, let's keep an eye out for that. This points distribution in those playoffs will be the same as in Season 4. But yeah, this is for the future. This was now, and what I told you in this video was, let's say, the past and how we got to Season 4 and what you can expect in the future. Maybe you know the tracks that we are going to race at as part of the season, and now you know what will happen afterwards and how marbles can qualify for Season 5. As a final note, I want to remind you that on Saturday, March 11th, 7 PM GMT, the season finale of the Marble Racing Intercontinental Championship 2023 will be uploaded, or basically it has been uploaded but will be published there. And yeah, I'm very much looking forward to your reaction to this video and the conclusion of the series. The series will continue in 2024, so at the beginning of 2024 we will have another iteration of the Intercontinental Championship with qualifying races as well. So for this year we had the countries picked on my Discord channel, but for the next years we will have qualifying races for each continent, and I'm very much looking forward to this. But for today, this shall be it. If you enjoyed this video, this kind of different video, yeah, like, share, comment, subscribe, all that stuff what you hear from other YouTubers also applies here. This has been Torfnaser Iceman, the info video for seasons 1, 2, 3. I'll see you for the next race. Goodbye.